Hello guys, welcome to my new YouTube video. In this video, we'll be discussing about the friend function definition and a simple example. And in second example, I'll be explaining how we can access the private data members from two different classes. So let's move on to first, what is mean by friend function? Okay, so friend function is nothing but okay, it is not a member function. Okay, friend function is not a member function, but it is able to access the private data members in our class. So first, what is mean by private data and member function? I'll be discussing in a class. We have member functions and data variables. Data variables are private. It can accessed only by the member functions of the same class. So friend function is not a member function, but it can able to access the private data members in our class. So such type of function is called as friend function. So what is the use of this friend function? Why we have to use, that is the main question, right? So for example, here we have three classes. For example, AB of friend function is, for example, this is our class X, this is my class X, and this is my class Y, and think this is my class Z. So if you want to access the data members of class A comma B, I have to go into that function. I have to call that, right? And I have to make some calculations in that. I have to call that function and I have to recreate. I mean, it can be accessed only by the member functions, right? So, and if I want to go for another class function, if you are having hundreds of functions like that, hundreds of class, I cannot go and each into class. I cannot access the members, right? I mean private data members. So with the help of three different classes, I'll be creating a function which is called as friend function. I mean here friend function is used to access the private data members of a class. For example, if I'm having a mobile and it is at the road. For example, if an outsider comes and tries to open it, it is not giving to access because he is an outside, right? No one can access members from my outside of the class. For example, my family members are present, so from my family members are member functions, right? So they can access the private data members in my class. And similarly, for example, friend, right? Friend, he is not an outsider, not an family, but he can access the uh, private data members of my class. So that's it about the friend function. So let's discuss, I mean, what are the important points of our friend function. First, uh, it C++ is major concept is for the data heading, right? But friend function is, I mean, rejecting the data heading. It is neglecting, or we can say that data heading is against. Friend functions are against the data heading, and with the help of friend function, the size of program is reduced. Not only that, if I want to use the friend function in my class, in class first I have to define it. I mean, you have to define it. After the definition, I have to declare outside the class. So inside the class, I have to define with the help of friend. I mean, friend variable, friend variable, and in outside the class I don't have to use any friend, and after that in friend function I have to pass the parameters. If I want to pass the parameters in the form of integers, right? But I have to pass the parameters in the form of objects. So objects as parameters. And not only that, the last but not least important point is from the friend function, every function we have called with the help of a return type, right? But in C language, how we are calling, for example, fun of 10 and fun of 20, for example, fun is in class. So similarly we are going to call the friend function with the help of a without any return type. I mean, we are simply calling friend, I mean not friend. For example, big is my class name, so I'm calling big of for example, B is my object. So big of B, I'm passing the B as a object from the main class, from main function. So that's it. Let's move on to a coding part. You'll get a clear understanding. So in 1 minute I'll be coding. very fast so that our time will not be wasted. Using namespace std. After that, for example, I'm making a sum class, okay, in which I'll be dividing adding the two data members with the help of front function. Okay, integer a comma b. So these are the private data members, right? They can access it only by the member functions of the same class, but here with the help of front function we are going to access it. So member functions are always in public. So void get, with the help of get, I'll be taking the input from user into c in a comma b. After that I have to declare here friend function. Friend is my keyword and void is my return type, and then I have to call the function. For example, sum is my function, and I have to pass the parameters, right? So let it be add, it would be fine. So sum is my return type of what is my what I'm passing the uh, to the friend function, that is important. Here I'm passing the object, right? So let's close the class function, and outside I'm not writing any friend keyword, only inside the class I'm writing friend keyword. And after that add, here I'll be passing an argument, for example s1, that is coming from my main sum of s1, and that here I'll be printing cout a plus b. Okay, let's move on to our main part, integer main. And that after that, first I have to call get function, right? So sum is my class and s1 is my object. So s1 dot get, sorry, s1 dot get is my calling function to get the values of a and b. After that I have to pass the s1 into the my add function, so that s1 here s1 having a and b, right? Here when I'm calling this function, my a value will be 10. For example, I'm giving a value 10 and b value 20. So in my s1 dot a would be 10 and s1 dot b would be my 20, right? So after that I have to add here s1 dot a plus s1 dot b. So that's it. I would be getting answer as 30. So after that I have to pass the parameter, right? So add of s1. Here I'm passing an object. Look carefully, guys. Up to now we have only passed the argument, for example 10, 20 or something like that, but here firstly for the friend function we are passing the objects in the form of arguments. So let it be new one. Passing 10 and 20 as input, our answer is 30. Okay, for clear understanding let me write c out of enter b values. Sum is okay. So first I'm calling the get function, right? So whenever I'm calling the get function, a and b values are printed with the help of cout, and with the help of cin, I'm giving the input. Cin means input functions. So for example, I'm giving 100 and 200. So sum is, so after that get function I'm calling, I'm giving the argument, I mean objector to the friend function. So add function. So s1 gets here, and s1 dot a and s1 dot b it gets added, and then output is 100 plus 200 is 300. I hope you are clear with this. If you have any doubt, please let me know in my comments. That's it for a simple example of friend function. Our second question is friend function with two classes. Okay, here we have used only single class, right? Only single class sum is used. For example, if you are having two different classes and I want to check if any number is greater than, if one in sum a is there, right? In, for example, in another class, let us take it as sample. In another class I'm having sample as test. Okay, in test I'm having b comma c. Okay, I want to check sorry, c comma d. I want to check if a is greater than c or d. I mean a is greater than c. In test class I'm having c comma d as data variables. I have to check if a is greater than c or not, b is greater than c or not, d or not. So how it is going to possible? With a simple member function it is not going to possible. With the help of inheritance it is going to possible, but here we are using friend function, right? So with the help of friend function we can make this possible. So let's move on to our next question. Okay, as include IO stream will be the same. Space std, and then class of, for example I'm using test1, and then class test2. Firstly I have to declare, right? I mean define, right? So test1 is my class test1, here integer a. After that, in public I have to read a, so get a, see out, enter a value. So that would be reading my a value. After that I have to read with the help of a, I have to read a, right? See in of a. Okay, up to here it is clear. In my class I have to declare the friend function, so with the help of friend keyword. Okay, and return type is void. So in my big function I'll be printing it there itself only. So friend void big is my function, and then here test1 comma test2. So it is friend to test1, it is saying that it is friend to my test1 class and test2 class also. In my second class also I have to declare the same line. I mean it is friend to my test1 and test2 also. So similarly integer b, and member functions are always in public, so public. And after that void get b, cout, enter b value. After that c in of b. Okay, I hope you are clear up to here. So up to now we are taken the value of a from the user, and with the help of friend keyword we are declare the friend void big. I mean I mean it is friend to both test1 and test2 classes. After that I'll be writing the same friend keyword void, it is friend to our class 2 also. I mean this line declares that I am friend to test1 and as well as test2. So that's it. After that I have to create big function. Here I'm not using friend keyword outside the class, because only the rule is friend is used only inside the class, not outside the class. So void bigger test1 t1. I'll be here we have to pass the parameters in the form of objects. Okay, test here we are getting t1 and t2 in the form of objects. Okay, we have to check if I have to check which one is greater than, right? So first t1 dot a is greater than t1 t2 dot b. Sorry. Then cout would be my a is big. That's it, right? And then else if my t1 dot a is less than t2 dot b. Sorry. Then cout would be my b is big, right? So that's it. Else if they are both are same, I have to print both are equal. So I hope you are clear what I have written in this function. So void big is our friend function. I'm passing the parameters as objects. Test1 and t1 and t2 are my objects. So I'm checking if t1 dot a is greater than t2 dot b. Then I mean t1 consists of a, right, and t2 consists of b. So if my t1 dot a, I mean t1 value is greater than a or b, then a is big. If it is less than b, then b is big. Or else if they are both same, then I have to print both are equal. So I hope you are clear. In main function, first I'll be calling the first. I have to declare the objects, right? First test1 of t1 and then test2 of t2. First I have to call a, right? So a is present in void get a. So with the help of t1 object, t1 dot get a, okay, and I have to call t2 dot get b also. So in my t1, okay, let me show you a simple example too. In my t1, a value is there, and t2 b value is present. For example, a value is my 10 value and b is my 20. So my output should be 20 is greater, I mean b is greater. So let's check. After that I have to pass the t1 and t2, right? T1 and t2 in my friend function. So I have to send like big is my function name, and I have to pass t1 comma t2. That's it. So I hope everything is fine. Okay, let's check this. Go to, yep, everything is fine. So I'll be printing first enter a value 100 and b value is 200. So my output would be b is big. Yep, everything is working fine. So let's check another value. For example, I'm giving two values are same, 100 and 100. So both are equal. Okay, let me check one last value. So for example, I'm giving minus 100 and giving 100. So b is big. I hope you are clear with these friend functions, right? We have used the friend function definition, what is meant by definition, and example of a simple friend function. And I have explained you the friend function with the help of two different classes. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, thank you. That's it for this video.